Hey witches, welcome to Busy, Gritty, Inked and Witchy, a magical living podcast for the busy witch. I'm Morgan, eclectic witch of almost 25 years, Avalon priestess, and busy witch. Here we'll talk all things witchy, from current metaphysical happenings to my busy witch tips and tricks, and everything in the in-between. This podcast is my personal journey, filled with my knowledge, opinions, and unique way of looking at the world. Join me as I weave the magical and the mundane in every episode. Hey witches, welcome back to Busy, Gritty, Inked and Witchy. I'm Morgan, and today we're just having some pure good old fun. It's been a little heavy the last few weeks. So I had this idea floating around and I really just ran with it for fun, but also some real information thrown in, okay? So apparently, according to social media, according to websites, according to BuzzFeed, according to quizzes, if you like animals, you're a witch. If you stare at the moon, you're a witch. If you like going outside, you're a witch. If you own a plant, witch. If you breathe near a tree, you're a fucking high priestess. Yeah. I've seen the memes, I've seen Pinterest lists, I've seen the quizzes, I've seen all the cutesy things that people have created to keep you on their website, or for you to click on their website. They're cute. They really are. But a lot of them are bullshit. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to lovingly tear those apart. And then I'm going to offer you some real signs that you might be a witch. Okay? Not because you glanced at the moon once, but because your soul knows. Okay? And I do have a lot of notes for this one, but they're like, I wrote down ideas, I wrote down an outline, I wrote, some notes, and then I'm going to be riffing a lot of it. Okay? All right, so let's start out with fun. Let's start out with the bullshit. I love these quizzes though. And you guys, I take these stupid fucking quizzes. So when people, when you see those posts like, or I read the articles like, 8 signs you're a witch. And I'm like, okay, I'm curious. And I click. And then the first one's like, you love the moon. And I'm like, okay, well, if anybody hates the moon, what is that about? But they're really cheesy and they really are clickbait and they really are ways for these people you did exactly what that article was supposed to do. I did exactly what that article was supposed to do, which was get me to click on it and get me to someone's website. Okay. So they are clickbait. They're not the really bad clickbait where it's like, 20 celebrities that are really witches, and then you click on it and it's people you've never heard of. But the profile picture is of Michelle Obama or something. You know what I mean? That's clickbaity. But these are bad too, okay? Because the majority of them are just so generic. For example, and these are some of my favorites that I have seen. If you like to be alone, you're a witch. Okay. All right, well, so do bookworms. Introverts just in general, and people who avoid group texts. They also like to be alone or left alone. It doesn't necessarily make them witch, okay? I saw this one time. If you find feathers just laying around, you're a witch. These are signs from the universe that you're being a witch. Or you live near a tree, or you have an invasive pigeon. We have invasive pigeons. They might be doves. To be honest, we have both of them and they look very similar in Arizona. They're invasive though. They crowd our stoop, like our front porch. Does that mean I'm a witch? I mean, I am a witch, but the pigeons have nothing to do with it, nor do their feathers. If you talk to animals, you're a witch. Or my favorite, if you like animals, you're a witch. And I'm like, who doesn't like animals? There has to be at least one animal that you like. If you don't like dogs, okay, maybe you like cats. If you don't like cats, maybe you like ferrets. Maybe you see a good whale and it makes you smile. Or, a dolphin that jumps out of the ocean and you're like, oh, so pretty, But who doesn't like animals? Oh, and then the very esoteric, mystical. If you feel different from others, then you're a witch. Well, sometimes being different just means you have a personality or you think for yourself, or you walk to the beat of your own drum, but none of those mean you're a witch. Okay? Yeah. So those were just some of my favorites. I would love to know, like, when I do post this, you please put in the comments your favorite ones that you've seen, like, oh, you're a witch if, you know. My favorites by far are the if you like animals, or if you talk to animals, you're a witch. If you like the moon, if you like to go outside during the moon, or if you like nights, you know, like, I'm a morning person, still a witch. So, you know, and then, yeah, if you feel different from others, yeah, that's a good one too. Anyway, I want to know either in the comments of the video, if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're listening on like Spotify, or if you see the sound clip on, you know, Instagram or TikTok, let me know in the comments what your favorite, like, you're a witch if you've seen, like, those things, like, and I'm talking like cheesy favorite. Okay. So as like my own fake list, right? Because we're going to go cheesy, because I love a good cheese factor. Here are some of my, if I were creating one of these little quizzes or doing these little blog posts, if you have hoarded jars like a depression era grandmother, you might be a witch. Okay. Because witches love jars. Okay. If you have apologized to a crystal for dropping it, you might be a witch. I always, you guys. So I put gemstones in my bra. 100% forget about them every single day. Every single day, forget that I have put gemstones in my bra. So the minute I get home and I'm changing into my night clothes, my comfy clothes, bra comes off, and I have tile floors in my house, I just hear crack, boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, damn it. So many gemstones I have broken. And every single time I pick up the little pieces, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm so sorry. And you would think that I would stop putting gemstones on my bra. I do not. It is a perfect gemstone holder. Okay. Anyway. If you have ever whispered fuck it mid-spell and somehow made it more powerful, you might be a witch. Okay. I also believe that the word fuck is a beautiful way to clear your throat chakra. Okay. So if you have a blockage there and there's something you really want to say, you really want to communicate, just yelling out fuck, you know, really clears out that throat chakra. Okay. I'm just having fun with this one. I love this. Like, I might be PMSing. Okay. So in complete and utter transparency and honesty, I've been a little on edge for the last couple of days. And so when I was thinking about different podcast topics, I was like, you know what? So what I do is I get on social media, and I will scroll for a couple of minutes, because I need to see if there's any type of topics that people are talking about that maybe I have an opinion on. So now you're getting like a little bit of a glimpse into the behind the scenes of how I come up with shit. So what happens is I'm scrolling on social media, and I will see a post, or I'll see like a group of posts, like people are talking about different things. And sometimes I'll jot them down and be like, okay, this could be a really cool podcast topic. A lot of times, which for the last few weeks, it's been about my journey and what I've been going through. And I want to share that with other people so that you know you're not alone. So I was scrolling on social media. Oh, one of these posts got me, you guys. It got me. It was like 8 signs you might be a witch. And it was like a carousel. And each one that I'm scrolling by just made my head hurt even more. And to where I was like, oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God, are you fucking... Like, this is like 90% of the population identifies with at least one of these 8 slides. Like, give me a fucking break. Not everybody's a fucking witch, you know? And that was how this was born. So I started snarkily and pissed offedly making a list. And that's what led me to today. But what happens is after I get all of that out and I express myself, I then come around to, okay, so what are some real signs of being a witch? And I love this. I love what I was able to come up with. Okay. So these are 7 signs of you might be a witch, or you might be a real witch, not just one around Halloween too. I love them seasonal witches. Anyway, number 1, and these are in no particular order, but number 1, you've always felt the unseen world was just as real as the visible one, okay? Whether it was ghosts, dreams, nature, or just knowing things, you've always felt that there was more to this world than just this world, okay? And I love that even now we have a lot of people entertaining the idea, thank you Marvel, of multiverses, multi-universes, which the concept of multiverses dates back thousands of years to, I believe the Mayans believed that when you, don't hold me to this, please do not hold me to this. Okay, this is something that I learned in my dream magic class for my degree a while ago, and I have thus, I remember, I can see the page in my head too. Anyway, I believe it was the ancient Mayans. Do not hold me to that. But they believe that there are different versions of you, and in your dreams, you can go visit these other versions of you. So that's the multiverse, you guys. That's exactly what that is. But even through modern day, depictions of things like this, we're getting a lot of people moving over into witchcraft because they feel it. They just feel like there's something more than what is right in front of us, what is presented right here, or they're questioning, like, is there more? Is there, an afterlife? Is there another realm directly on top of this realm? Are there portals? Are there, and as the veil thins, as we get closer to Samhain and then Beltane in May, people start to see things out of the corner of their eyes, or they start to have experiences, and they start to question, like, is this it? So if you have always felt that the unseen world was just as real as this one, or you've always felt that there was something more than just what is presented in front of you, then you might be a witch, okay? Because you feel something deep down. Number 2, you are a pattern breaker, okay? You don't necessarily have to be a witch to be a pattern breaker, but things like generational trauma, toxic traditions, outdated expectations, you have questioned it all, and magic is often your way of rebelling. I know as a teenager from the 90s, I think my origin story is, and I don't exactly remember which episode I have told my origin story in, but in high school, some shit happened. Two shit instances happened to 2 different people within a week or 2 of them. They happened to be 2 people that were on my shit list, and bad things happened to them. So I got to school and everyone was calling me a witch, and the way that I am, just so y'all know my internal wiring, I was like, well, if you're going to fucking call me a witch, I might as well be one. And so I went to a bookstore, bought a book on Wicca as a complete act of rebellion. Like, fuck you. If you're going to call me a witch, I'm going to be one. And then I started reading this book on Wicca, and I was like, oh my God, so many answers. I have had so many questions that I looked for in the Bible, or I looked for at church. Or I asked my grandmother, who was devoutly Methodist, and she would just tell me, Morgan, sometimes you need to just believe. And I'm like, I can't believe I have questions. You can't tell me to just believe blindly, and especially when my questions counteract what I was being taught in Christianity. So for a lot of us, witchcraft is rebellion. That's how we got into it, because we were questioning. We were saying there has to be something more to this. Like, I can't continue to repeat this cycle. How do I fucking break free of it? Or I'm not going to take on my parents' shit. Fuck that. I'm going to break the cycle right here and move forward on my own. I don't want to continue this generational trauma. I don't want to continue this generational cycle of bullshit. So I'm going to fucking break it and move forward. These are all signs of, yes, being a witch, but they're signs of having something in you, larger than you, bigger than you, awakening, and you feeling it and noticing it and doing something about it. Okay. Number 3, you create meaning where others miss it. And this is a little bit of mindfulness. It's a little bit of magic. But for example, like a rock isn't just a rock. I love when I post, especially around the Tucson Gem Show. I post a lot about the gem show, things we're finding, metaphysical properties of gemstones. And there's always one. It's always a guy too. I love that. It's always like a older, like middle-aged older man that says, rocks are just rocks. They don't have energy. And I'm like, it must be so sad to not believe in anything fun. That's my take on life, right? Or to not believe in the possibility of something being something other than what it is, you know? So a rock isn't just a rock. A crow call isn't just a noise. It could be a sign from the goddess. It could be a message from someone who's passed. A candle isn't just wax. Everything becomes sacred in your hands because you give it meaning, because you understand energy and you understand that everything has energy. So you're able to see things for their potential, or you're able to see things for more than just what's given in front of you. So you are able to create meaning where, let's face it, people that are non-magical, they don't get it. They hear you talk about the metaphysical properties of crystals or herbs and they think you're nuts. They hear you say something about, oh, I was shadow working, or I was in meditation and I vision journeyed to the future, and they're like, oh my God, she's lost her shit. And then you say something. They're always the first people too, where like when some shit happens, who's the first person they ask? It's you. It's you. They're going to talk shit about your crystal knowledge and your herb knowledge and how you talked about prophetic dreams. But the minute that some shit happens, they're like, hey, what's going on in my life? Because I was just wondering if you knew, because like, is something crazy going on? There's the first people to fucking ask you what the hell's going on in the real world, like magically or energetically. Yeah. Anyway, number 4, you are able to turn pain into power, or a weakness into a strength. You are able to basically transmute things from one form into another. That's magic. Magic is creating and directing your energy for a specific purpose, okay? But a lot of magic is transmutation, which is changing something from one state to another, which is why the concept of alchemy, or which is now thought of to be spiritual alchemy, is so fascinating to a lot of us. The possibility of turning lead into gold it's amazing. You know, it's not reality right now, but it's something that alchemists have strived for like thousands of years to do. But we know it now as spiritual alchemy. So it's taking pain and turning it into power. It's taking a low point of your life and learning from it and healing it so that you can rise yourself up. It is literally taking one thing and turning it into something else, using it as fuel for a fire, for something more, for growth, for healing, for breaking generational curses, all of that. But also, even just on a smaller scale, spells, art, rituals, laughter, all of this, you understand all of these as tools of transformation. And you understand that on like a holy shit level, or even if you don't understand it on a holy shit level, you understand that the possibility exists. Like you can maybe understand it on just a small level right now, but you understand that one day you'll understand it on a big level, you know? Number 5, you feel called, not pressured, to explore magic. I can remember as a child being highly fascinated with, number one, Alice in Wonderland. I loved the idea of this mystical world that she fell into, and the plants talked to her. And there was a Cheshire cat that would just appear. And there was a hare and a Mad Hatter that had tea parties with riddles that made no sense. This idea of this fantasy land that was within our land absolutely fascinated me. I loved it. I also loved watching, witchy shows, witchy movies growing up. There was always something to them, I felt. So I was very much called to explore magic, not because it was trendy. Definitely was not trendy in 1997 when I started to explore the concept of witchcraft. I believe the Craft movie had come out at that point. I don't even think Charmed had started yet. Maybe not. I don't know. But it definitely was not trendy. It was taboo. I was being called a witch by my peers as a form of bullying, So you want to explore magic because it fascinates you. Not because you're told to, not because it's trendy, because there is a part of you, it's almost like a remembering. Something inside of you is like, oh, this is real. Other people see fake Hollywood bullshit in a movie, but you're like, there's some truth to this somewhere. I'm going to dig in, and it is like a part of you remembers. It's the weirdest feeling ever, but that's the best way to describe it. It is a part of you inside awakens and perks up and is like, we've done this before. Not in this life. But our soul has done this before. You need to explore this more. And it's like I have to learn more about magic. And it can even be, this is a great way to tune back into your inner witch once you've already claimed being a witch. But what do they want to learn? Like if I were to sit here right now and be like, okay, divination, spell jars, astral projection, lucid dreaming. Like if I were to just be firing off different witchcraft practices or different things witches do, there would be something in you that would perk up at one point. Like, oh, what did she say about creating a grimoire? What was that? That sounds fun. It's because a part of you remembers that from a past life, or part of you is awakened. Okay. So you feel called, not pressured, to explore magic or some form of it. Number 6, you are not afraid of darkness. And this doesn't necessarily mean physical darkness. It can mean spiritual darkness. It can mean dark topics. I don't know that I have ever met a witch that did not have a slightly morbid sense of humor. I'm sure that they exist, and I've probably talked to people and just hey, do you have a weirdly morbid sense of humor? Never came up in conversation. And I'm sure that when I said that, you might be like, oh no, that's not me at all. But there is something about the darkness that is very intriguing to witches. And it's not necessarily the night. Again, I am a morning person, and I very much like to sleep at night. I'd like to be in bed as the sun goes down. But I also love hanging out in a cemetery at night. It does not scare me. I can do it alone. I used to do it alone. In fact, that's when I used to get a lot of my really good thinking done, when I was in a point in my life where I'd fucked my life up pretty badly. I would literally go to a cemetery by myself at night and just sit and think, and talk, because it was a pretty active cemetery. Anyway, there's something about bones or cemeteries or the dark season, from September until March. that just brings you to life, or the moon, or the nighttime. Whether it's your shadow, or death, or the void, or nothingness, or the question mark of like, I don't know what's out there, but I'm willing to explore it. Or the Tower card even. You've danced with it and come back stronger. So you're not afraid of darkness. I do love when the Tower card comes up, either the Tower card or death in a reading, because it is the first people are, oh my gosh. And I'm like, okay, first of all, if the death and the Tower card are next to each other, then you should gasp. I'm not going to lie. But if you have a Tower card, it just means the destruction of something, so something new can be reborn. The Death card is change. Transformation is coming. The Devil card actually is the one where which people, a lot of people, if they're like Christian or have Christian tendencies, they see the Devil card and they're like, oh, like, yeah, okay, this is self-reflection, and that's scary for a lot of people. So this is where, like, the Devil card is where you have to dive down inside of yourself, or you have to look and see where you've put up illusions, or you have to look at your shadows. And that's the one that a lot of people think, because a lot of people they don't want to dive down inside. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to do the inner shadow work. They don't want to look at the parts of them that aren't gorgeous or beautiful or quote unquote perfect. They just want to shove that shit away. So if you're like, no, let's tackle it, let's face it, I'm going to face my fears, I'm going to face this, I'm going to face this, then you might be a witch. And number 7, you can't not be a witch. You're called to it, you're drawn to it, something inside of you has awakened, and maybe even in the past, you've denied it. You've hidden it. You've been like, oh, I can't be a witch. Oh my gosh. Like I took 27 of those quizzes and they all told me I was a witch, but I can't. I don't know. You may have even walked away from it, but at some point it's going to be too much and you're going to get called back to it. You're going to be called back to it. You can't not be a witch, especially if you have opened that doorway. Especially if you have explored so many of those parts of you, it will always be a part of you, which is why I find people who have been witches, who all of a sudden find Jesus, and then completely denounce witchcraft. I find them so fascinating because I have a theory. And yes, I'm going to point out some, like, I know some people like on a smaller scale, social media wise, that, have done this, but one huge person is Kat Von D, to the point where like she was a witch and, she had all the tattoos or whatever. And then she all of a sudden found Jesus and she's even blacking out like her entire body. I do not believe that they had an awakening and found Jesus. I think that what happened is they got to a part of their shadow working where something scared the ever-loving fuck out of them and they were not brave enough to face it. Oh, that's a controversial take, isn't it? But that's what I think happens to people. I think that the transition from Christianity or any other religion that has so many rules and restrictions and regulations, the transitions from that into witchcraft, pretty amazing. It makes sense because witchcraft is so open and so personal to who you are and what you want to practice. And knowing your strengths, and witchcraft is about knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, owning your power and making shit happen in your life for yourself. So I think going from someplace highly restricted in its thinking and its concepts into something that's extremely personal and open and empowering, that transition makes sense. If you have truly been in that space where you are open, you have created magic, you've seen the power of what being a witch does for you in your life, and you've manifested shit from nothing, to go from that to getting on your knees and praying to one male god and denying the entire divine feminine, something happened there. Something happened there that's not normal. That's a backwards flow. That's a force in the opposite direction. So I feel like in their working, or they were dealing with entities or creations or whatever that were not great. And instead of facing it and trying to work through it, they just quickly oh shit, I must be Christian, and oh shit, Jesus saved me from the evil shit that I created in my own life, you know? So that's my personal belief of when that shit happens. And for the last part, just to kind of sum up here, because those were the 7 things, like 7 real signs that you're a witch. The biggest thing to keep in mind is you are a witch if you say you're a witch, okay? If you feel like you are a witch, then be one. You are one. It doesn't matter how many times you cast spells. It doesn't matter if you honor every Sabbath. It doesn't matter if your practice looks completely different from any other person's practice that you've ever seen on social media or in person or whatever. If you are a witch, if you feel that awakening, if the word witch brings a smile to your face and lights up something within you, then you're a witch, okay? There is no checklist. There is no gatekeeper. There is no title. There is no studying like diploma. There's no degree. There's no nothing that is absolutely needed for you to call yourself a witch. Nothing. Witch is a reclaimed word. It, for centuries, has been a curse word. It has been a witch. Oh my gosh. Did they just say the W word? Oh my God. Burn them alive. You know, it is a reclaimed word. We witches are taking that word. We are reclaiming it. We are empowering it. And we are saying, I am a witch. Fuck with me and you'll find out. It is a word of freedom. And if it sings to your soul, then you are a witch. And maybe you don't cast spells. Maybe you do. Maybe you talk to your ancestors. Maybe you don't. Whatever your path looks like, it is your path. It is your witchcraft path. Okay? And if the path of the witch is calling you, then you have already answered. You are already a witch. So, just some fun little things. Whether you have a whole altar or several, guilty, or you just have a single candle on your windowsill, or if you are still in the broom closet and you have that practice in your heart, if the path makes you feel powerful, connected, and magical, then you're a fucking witch. Okay? Don't let any kind of quiz or checklist or blog post article or clickbait, whatever you clicked on, to tell you otherwise. You are the magic. You are a witch if you say that you are a witch. Yay! That's what I have for you all today. Yeah, I hope this one was fun for you. As you can see, hopefully by my mannerisms, especially if you were watching this on YouTube, I fucking loved this subject. When I saw that shit on social media and the cauldron within me started bubbling up in anger a little bit, and I was like, meh, and I had to get all that shit out first. But what was born from it was hopefully something that resonated with you all. And it's something that, like, these are the types of things I love spreading within the witchy community. These are the type of empowering and inspirational words that I want everyone who is magically curious to hear, which is why it is so important, please, for you to like, share, subscribe, you know, share this with other witches, just this episode, or, you know, whatever, because I feel like there are so many more people out there that have that awakening within them, but maybe because of where they live or because of who they live with, they're keeping it buried. And there are little ways to practice magic. Like, you are the magic. So whatever you're doing, as long as you understand that you are the magic and you're infusing everything with your energy, then you're creating magic everywhere. You don't have to sit down and do it at an altar, and you don't have to perform a whole ritual or a spell. You are magic. So, yes, again, sorry, lovely little tangent at the end, little rant that wasn't even planned. The Patreon bonus for this week is an extremely fun, I went really fun with this. It is a You Might Be a Witch If sheet that you can print out, add to your Book of Shadow pages. But what I want Patreon members to do is, in the comments of that post, I want you to share real signs of when you knew you were a witch. Like I knew I was a witch when. And just see what comes out, because I think that would be really fun. So you get the piece of paper, you get the fun little questionnaire to add to your book of shadows or your journal or whatever. But we also get some community, collaboration going in the comments. So you also, with a paid Patreon tier membership, and the smallest is $5 a month. You get the bonus content on Patreon, but you also get a shout out. So I want to thank Barbara for being a new paid Patreon member. Thank you so much. Being a paid Patreon member means that you are supporting me as a content creator, a witchy content creator. Not so much the business, which is inkgoddesscreations.com. Not my coven, which is inkspirit.com. Do you like how I'm just throwing in these plugs here at the end? Yeah. Anyway, it is supporting me as a witchy content creator. So I definitely want to thank all of you paid Patreon members for that. But overall, I want to thank you as a listener for listening to my podcast or watching on YouTube. It means a lot to me to have this platform to not only teach, but share what I'm passionate about, to inspire, to awaken, all of that good stuff. So thank you for being here and being a listener. It means a lot to me. Over the next week, have fun, be magical. Let me know in the comments when you figured out that you were a real witch, or your favorite cheesy signs that you're a real witch that you've seen online somewhere. So thank you for being here. I will see you all next week. Bye. If you're looking for a magical community where you can just be yourself, check out my Ink Spirit Coven. The Coven is an online learning circle for eclectic witches who want to learn new witchcraft practices and how to easily incorporate magic into their daily lives, all while being supported on their personal spiritual journey. And you'll have me as your magical mentor, sharing my knowledge, answering questions, and facilitating the online community. Head to inkspirit.com to learn more and join. And if unique witchcraft supplies made by witches for witches is just what you need, head to my store, inkgoddesscreations.com, to see what we have to enhance your magical practice. We also have the Ink Goddess Creations box, a monthly subscription of magic mail filled with exclusive items that fit a magical theme. Head to the site to see this month's theme and sneak peeks.